Okay, hi Najim, hi Anthony. This is Ken. I want to provide. Hey Anthony and Najim, this is Ken. What I want to do here is to go over the logic of how we can do our work. So, just to kind of lay everything out, want to start with a college website, and in this case, we're going to be using Mira Costa College. And then we need to use some type of web crawler or web scraper. I think that's the term I hear them using more. And they give us an example of a tool that could be this web scraper that's going to go in and get information, and it's going to put this information into a file. Okay, so we're going to use a web crawler, grab some information, put it into a file, and in the file we're going to figure out what we need from the website, because I'm imagining the web scraper is going to pull a lot of information we don't need, so we need to figure out how do we access only the information we want. So from the file we need to figure out what we need, and then what we need is going to go into the DynamoDB, the Dynamo database. Okay, when we do the web scraper or the web crawler, I think we can do it where it can pull that information into this file every week in case there were changes. So one of the things we're going to be asking about is what activities are going on campus. So they're going to update that. So as they update that, this will go into this file, and then that file will populate the Dynamo database. And then from the Dynamo database, we're going to go into Lex. And then from Lex, when we can't answer a question, we're going to use Amazon Connect. And that's kind of a phone call kind of log where someone from the college would call the student. And then if they can't answer the question over the phone, then they would actually use Amazon Chime. Okay, so what we need to program is this whole process, at least to Amazon Connect. And then if they're working with Amazon Connect, we need to help them to be able to launch Chime so they can kind of do a screen sharing session with the student and kind of walk them through. What I'm noticing is that most of what students need help with is kind of navigating online tools. So students have to register online, they have to apply online, they have to look at their classes online, so they got to do a lot of stuff online, and students kind of struggle with that process, especially students in community colleges. So part of the this whole process, I was thinking about what the intent was, and the intent could be like how to register for classes. Okay, so in Lex, we hear the question how to register for classes, and we're trying to answer that question just with voice. But if with voice is not enough, then we need to have some kind of image or video, and we might have to do that as a link, right? So this image and video and link would also be part of what goes on in this database. So in the database are going to be information we get from the website, plus information that we add, info we add, okay? And that's all the information that Lex is going to have to answer the question about how to register for classes. if after all of that voice or image or video, they're not still not able to figure out how to register for classes, then we would say, Lex would say, okay, give me your cell phone number, and we'll have someone call you. And that cell phone number will go into Amazon Connect, and then someone at the college will know to contact this person, and they'll also know that it's about registering for classes. And then when they call that person, if they're not able to address it over the phone, then they'll do a chime session where it's basically like a high quality Skype session, and they can actually screen share and walk them through step by step. So that's what I'm thinking. And then I'm wondering how we break all this workload up. Najim, I'm wondering if you could help figure out how this web crawler, web scraper can pull information from MiraCosta College's website, and what kind of file that's going to produce for us, and then start thinking about how we can import some of that information into the Dynamo database. Okay? And then Anthony's figuring out how to work with this Dynamo database. After we get information in there, how do we get it into Lex, and how do we get it into Amazon Connect? Okay? So let me know if you think if you think that makes sense. But I'm thinking that would be a nice way to kind of split the workload. Najim focus on the web crawler, producing a file, figuring out how that file can go into Dynamo database, and then we also need to figure out what else needs to be added to that, and then how do we get it from the Dynamo database to Lex. Okay, so let's talk. Okay, thanks. Bye bye.